sessions and listen to the discussion. It says there's generally no opportunity for public comment, but that's completely different from this section. We will be all talking about different things that contribute to the fair. For a roll call, we are all here. Hi. We can move forward with an agenda approval if one of you guys would like to approve the agenda. Yeah. Okay, Bruce moves to approve. Do I have a second? John, a second. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion carries, and we will start our work session. So this is our fair planning workshop. So Kyle passed around, I don't know if everyone got it, a list of questions. And so I don't know if we kind of want to start by going around the room, or Kyle, what was your hope for that?
Yeah, that could work, and then we can follow up with, you know, what the fairgrounds has been working on, but looking at this as an opportunity just to kind of hear from all of the different groups on things that they have planned for the fair this year and any other ideas. Say we did make this little questionnaire just to kind of help the conversation, but you know, just like, what are your plans for the fair? What support do you need from the fairgrounds? Do you have any ideas or suggestions? Do you have any concerns from prior years? Any changes or new approaches from your previous years that you've done stuff here? Volunteer needs, or and then if you have details on like promotional stuff that we can use to, you know, help make sure people know about your stuff at the fair, and that we can put it into our advertising and stuff like that.
And once you start and you start going around, if something pops up, just write it down and we'll come back, and we can definitely, it's not a one and done. It is a very open discussion to be able to make sure everyone is heard and we all can be in the right direction.
Yeah, and I could just start off with one of the topics, just like known issues. Like we know we've had issues with like track and janitorial stuff in the past, and we're working on that. We're gonna make sure we bring in the janitorial folks to start on Monday. Last year, we didn't start them until the fair started, but there was all that stuff in advance. So we've got a plan for that. With parking, my first year here was kind of an issue. I think last year went much better. We're looking to do, you know, something very similar to what we did last year. Last year we were doing vouchers and e-tickets for the season passes, and that wasn't very well received. So we know we're not going to do that. We're going to look with wristbands again this year. So, you know, those are some of the things, you know, that we've identified that were stuff and issues in the past. So if you have any input on those, or if you have other things that you know, have seen in the past that we should work on, or make sure that we haven't forgotten about it, were issues, let us know.
Kyle, before everybody gets started, I wonder if it'd just be helpful to do a walk around the room for us. Some of us are newer to the board.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
So we can know who everybody is, what their roles are.
Yeah, I mean, they could probably start that as they're talking about their group too.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. Would you guys like to go first?
We would, okay, remind me, I'm working through this list right now, or we're taking it question by question.
It is really helpful.
You go by
This is a guide to help you.
Yes.
if you pause and can't think of something else to talk about, which is not the case.
So the plans for this year, so we do, my name is Katrina. Thank you, Mom. My real mom. My name's
Oh, no.
So we can all.
I shouldn't have one.
A little too much.
Yeah, it's good to be in your presence. I don't know if you guys know that she won a big award for the Women of the Year. Congratulations for that, man. Yeah.
Nice.
So good to just call her by her first name, I think. Okay, so I'm Katrina Pastor Sturgeon. I get to coordinate the community competitions. And that's open to all community members, regardless of age and club affiliation. We do a lot of the same kind of competitions that the 4-H side has, but it's open up to everybody. So I will introduce my two other leads here.
I'm Amy Boyovich. I do the horticulture department in Alabama.
I'm Carrie Bartolus, I do canning and here most of the week. So we've been doing it for a while, but we're always open to ideas and suggestions. Our plans this year, we are going to change the dates for intake and judging for our perishable items. So that means the items that are floral, our horticulture, and our baking. We're gonna get those closer to the fair date. The pros and cons are that they will last longer in regards to the life of the fair, but it's gonna change things maybe on who can actually bring things in. So we'll look at the actual hours for intake. But we're gonna shift that and hopefully have more fresh things towards the end of fair and see what the participation increase might look like. We've got some of our volunteers are shifting around. So if folks are interested in volunteering with us, they can reach out to me and we can talk about what their time commitment and availability is, and if they have areas of expertise or interest. We are looking to build gift baskets, so increase more community support for gift items, not necessarily gift certificates, but things that we can put together for some of the champions and grand champions in the various departments. And we want to increase the contest. So we do have an exhibitor's guide that pretty much remains the same year to year. This feels echoey. Can you guys hear me?
It's great.
Is it? Thank you so much. Good to hear. Appreciate that. We added some live contests last year. So we added the chili contest, which was on Saturday, and that was a big hit. We did flower reaching on Tuesday, and that was a big hit. And we did a garden outfit competition, and we want to increase those. We welcome ideas on live competitions for all ages here during the week, or good dates and times where you want to see more people come, so we can make sure to target those times during the fair, not compete too much with some of the 4-H things happening. I think how else is going when you wanted to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Conversation.
I feel like it's an update now. I have a mic, so nobody else does. It's like, and you're not even using it, so. Resources. So we're looking for gift baskets from the community. We want to update our floral displays and photography and expressive arts. We did something a little bit different. You're wondering if you could have a social media page. If you don't remember what the rules there. I don't know if I just keep going.
Last year, did you guys have a hard time getting flowers? Was that a thing?
No, I got some donations for flowers last year, and then we used the leftover from 4-H.
Okay,
And they were doing theirs on Tuesday this year, we're doing ours on Wednesday, but I said I'd come and help and we the leftover flowers from one of
second.
Great job, really good job, Amy. It's a conversation that was full. Previous years, we just got a fight 4-H every year. They try to take our furniture, but it's some new people on the block, so we'll see how that goes.
That means we're tougher.
Ladies, we're scrappy. Right? We are scrappy. More volunteers would be nice. We are building our judges, but we might need some judges in some areas. We think it would be okay. And we just want input on more activities, more contests that we can offer throughout the week. And with that idea, I'd like to know if you have experience in those areas, some leads on judges or someone who can help you organize it. That is, when is the talent show?
Wednesday night.
Oh, good. We approve of that, do we?
So,
Okay, we approve. We
I
approve.
got a question.
For me, or do you want that?
So, what are the rules on if people, because I've had people ask me about the chili cook-off was a big deal. Obviously, everyone loved it, but I had someone ask me about a rib cook-off. Can you do that?
My husband would love it if we did. So there's that support if we need it. I'm happy to support it. It just means we need to know the parameters from the health department. So if there were specific things for chili, I don't know what it means for the meat and how it's prepared. Have you done that before? Have you competed like that?
No, it's actually Kenny Hagner who's asking.
Yeah, he's a professional. Okay.
I know, but you get people together to
Yeah.
cook off, and all those people could probably even sell their stuff to develop a crowd. They're big competitions.
Oh, I know. Oh, for sure. Yeah, there.
Yeah, I can follow up with the health department on the way I understand it, it's about portion size. So, you know, with chili, it's easy to have a smaller, whatever, it is 3 ounce portion size. You can do it with larger meals, but then all of the people cooking have to have. Patronize their health license, like, if they were a food prep. But if it's something that's like on the commercial side, right, where you're asking for professionals to do it, and they likely already have a license, and we can just work off of that. So that was some of the conversation we had last year about it, but we want to just like the amateur chili cook-off with these really small portion size and say.
There's a lot.
It's not really, I mean, it's an option, there's some other, because we gotta get clearance, we don't.
That would, I think it would be good if it would work, because there's a lot of guys that have huge pride in their ribs or whatever.
I know a lot about smoke greens if you ever want.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So yeah, I think we fall within those guidelines. People really wanted to see another chili contest or the barbecue contest too. It's the cooking on site versus cooking at home. And so the distinction between those two and the limitation. Yeah, and then. Is that, am I good? Is there questions for community competitions? No.
So if you want to do a chili entry, is that gonna be on the fair website?
Yep.
I've never done a
Yeah,
chili thing, but
I love it. Yeah, so we did that.
that's where the source is to fill out your entry.
Yeah, it was a online entry, but they could go there, find out the details, the link to do that, and then go do that.
And that's all on the fair website.
It was, yeah. Yeah. Good deal.
Thank you.
Yep. And then I wear 2 hats, so I work with Northwest Oregon Works, it's a local workforce board, and so they help support me being here. So anytime I can integrate workforce development, that's when we bring in Job Corps to help with the hands-on stuff. I had a career hub here last year, so when I wear a couple of hats, I like to support it in ways that are beneficial for folks as well. So I think that's it for me. Thank you guys.
Oh, come on, Matt.
The heck?
I am just here to help. I'm in charge of nothing. I don't have any events going. But I'm just kind of here to give input and ask questions or stuff. It's the only thing that my name is Matt Bellingham. I was on the fair board. I've been involved in the county fair for going on 30 years now. Yeah. But really, the only thing that I have concern about right now, looking at fair, is we always struggle with concert. It's always a struggle to have enough volunteers to get that thing set up. It's always a struggle to make sure that we have enough panels to build all the fencing that we have without sealing round pens that by law we have to have. Found that out the hard way. And so just making sure that we have the resources that we need ahead of time and planned out so that we're not scrambling at the last minute at 2 a.m. to get things set up. So last year went pretty well. And so it was a huge improvement. I'm sure that we're just going to grow off of that, but volunteers for setup, volunteers for tear down for the car show the next morning. And then just making sure that we have the hands that we need to do all that.
Yeah. I think we'll definitely explore renting more of those bike racks and barricades, especially for the front of the stage. But I think we can take a little look at how we lay out some of that concert, you know, with the catering and the VIP bar and the restrooms and all that. Come up with a good game plan ahead, and it's a lot of volunteers and they're not necessarily involved in the planning piece, and they just know how it's been in years past. Trying to avoid it being stressful. Where did we get done? It was last year, though, we were done. It was like 7 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Trash cans, so we kind of sell on trash cans and we're sharing when we do that, so that's.
It was much better last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much.
That was all I got. for now.
Are you also still barn superintendent?
Yes, yeah.
And all that
So I'm
stuff?
still our superintendent,
Yeah.
I'll still be around all week, not dropping out any of that, so. Yeah,
And the campground.
yeah, campground house.
Before Wes goes though, I think I'm gonna have Mike with TCB or security
Okay.
jump in, just in case they've got to jump off the call. Does that work for you, Mike?
Yeah, that's fine. Can you hear me okay?
So Mike's with TCB, we do our ticketing through them, through etix.
Use your mic.
I don't think they can hear well on the, are you able to hear me fine on the recording?
No.
It's okay.
And, you know, they've got a lot of experience in working with all kinds of fairs and events around the state. So wealth of knowledge, I think we're really looking to kind of mirror a lot of what we did with them last year. But if you have anything input, Mike, you have, or Tammy, and then if anybody has any questions for them.
Yeah, I don't know that I have anything in particular. Tammy was here, op scout on the ground, so I don't know. I know we've met subsequent after fair, just to kind of recap and so I don't know if Tammy has anything that she wants to chime in with, but we're here just to hear any suggestions or ideas and talk through those, and you know, we work at your discretion, so whatever you guys need.
This is the same company from last year, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I think that this is, hi, I'm Tammy. I'm the event services director for TCB. I think everything last year with the fair went really well. It was our first year back with you, and we look forward to being there to help you with anything you need this year.
Thank you.
Any particular questions for them?
Were we gonna have them run a first aid booth, or were we just gonna rely on the fire department for that?
We would like them to do the first aid. We've had some conversations about it. Last year we were planning on it, and then with all, with. And with all the wildfires, we really taxed all of the folks that do that type of work last year. We're ready to plan on fair happen. So I think we'll be planning on it. Hopefully that's something that we can have. We did have, I'm sorry, blanking already right now, but she was, was gonna be doing the first aid, and she's still on staff as, sergeant, I suppose would be the, explanation of it, so she was able to respond to stuff. Like to have the designated location that does have first aid.
Did we ever hear back from Columbia Memorial about doing the first aid booth?
I haven't had a conversation with them yet about it, if that's something we can look into. It's ideal if we had.
Oh, okay.
There, you know, already your brother staff and all that, but if CMH wants to do it in some kind of partnership aspect where it's not gonna cost us anything, that would be always great.
Kyle, we can actually hear you better without the microphone online, but Tammy, just real quick, I don't know what other fairs are running simultaneous with Clatsop this year. But if medical is something you want to look at, we'll need to allocate resources sooner than later for it. Just we have a finite number of folks that fill that void. So Tammy, can you speak to that? Do we have overlapping fairs?
We do. We have Benton County and Clatsop County that overlap with, Benton and Klamath that overlap with Clatsop.
Okay, thank you. And we do provide medical at Benton, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Would it be something that we can have them kind of, like you said, team up with Providence and CMH even to have both of them, the two hospitals in the county come together and be a part of that too?
We can look into it.
Okay. I said Providence and CMH, because I mean, that's a handful of days, so if they could kind of trade off and do half days, maybe it's easier for them. And it's Clatsop County, so it brings in both sides.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead, Wes.
Hello,
Oh, can you hear me? Okay, I am Wes Olson. I do the car show. This is my 4th year. We're trying to move things a little bit each year. Now have a direction of where we're going. Last year we donated 1,700 change to the Astoria Middle School Careers Program for supplies. They were able to purchase a major piece for their track that they brought here last year. So each kid can now release the cars separately, so it's a hand-eye coordination, so it kind of makes it a competition. So that was one big purchase they were able to do because of the money. We hope to do it again this year for the same charity. He's going to bring his track the same as last year to run with his kids. And I also got an original Pinewood Derby track that another group is going to give us on loan to use, and we're going to try and get older people that used to do Pinewood Derby cars back in Cub Scouts and stuff to bring them in. We'll do some kind of run down the track with them. And my ultimate goal would be to get a class during the week, some kind of workshop where kids could build a car and then run it that day.
So that jumper was up for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that would be cool.
yeah, so I can find out more about that or connect you guys.
And so I helped John Lewis haul a laser cutting CNC machine to the school. And I'm gonna ask him to see if he can cut out kits to build the car.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So we've got that. I'm going on May 8th to speak to the Astoria High School. To see if I can do a pitch for to get some kids in here for senior projects. So I'm hoping to get 5 of them. That would be a dream to help me out, and I could work with them and we can have meetings and stuff to give some suggestions to get some more youth involved. Is my ultimate goal, since it's a fair, it's for the kids. So that's where I'm at. It's kind of evolving as it goes.
Awesome, thank you.
Do I need the mic?
Everybody does.
You want the mic?
Wes.
Anyway, I'm Tom Bettel. First of all, I want to thank you. And Kyle was brought up at the very beginning about parking. And I didn't know if you wanted some input when they set up the parking down below, so we're not rearranging the parking on the second day of the fair.
Absolutely, that'd be great if we could have a conversation about that setup.
Distance and pacing and stuff like that. I'd be glad to work with the guys. I'm not like, hey, we got more time here, so.
Yeah, that'd be good, and, you know, we try to set it up and make considerations for the shovel and the mover and all that. You know, folks, once everything gets kind of off track and you can't recover until the day's over. So if there's things that we can do to try to manage people's behavior without hurting people, there hasn't been anything that I found here that's shown, like, in the past, how the working has been laid out and what worked well, and what they didn't really play with kind of 2 different setups the last 2 years. Probably it did a little bit better last year, but it's still eventually, it's still gone.
And well, in past years, there was a group that would help with the parking. Sheriff Parks Posse do it, but they don't have that anymore. Guys bring their horses out and do that. Help people park. And I thought it was a organization last year to do it, or I had heard, but I don't know that nothing ever banned out.
What if we asked OET if they had anyone that want to do it? It's Oregon Equestrian Trails or something like that. They help with the open ride and do all of that thing.
That would be great. I mean, that's just.
They've got pretty like even keel horses. I originally thought OSET, but OSET, you've got some like jam up horses that might not be the best idea to have down there, but with the OET group, I think you've probably got some horses that would be chill enough to be down there with the vehicles moving and stuff like that.
Okay, and then
last year I pointed you in the direction for a tractor. Do you want me to help make arrangements for that?
Yeah, that'd be great. If we could find some folks that would be willing to sponsor and donate us a tractor for that week.
Okay, I can figure out connected for that. I will utilize my resources sooner than later. And then if I run out of gas, I'll let you know.
Yeah, and you definitely have a much better idea of what you need out of the tractor for doing that.
Okay, and then we talked about doing a safety issue on one side of the people mover to try to control how people jump on and off. Well, how they get on and off, not what be jumping on and off. But is there any resources, money, financing to try to put a rail on one side?
Yeah, I think it'd be worth the investment. I don't imagine that's something that would be terribly expensive, even if it's just getting chains or something that can't be removed.
Can't have chains. Chains will not work. I can guarantee you that. So it's gotta be like a rail with, and you're probably gonna run into if they're not, bars aren't closer than 4 inches apart, you're gonna run into an issue because someone's, that's what food is for some kids sticking their arm or their head through there.
Yeah, and along with that, on Monday, site visit with our risk management. And I can talk to her about, because I know that's something that she also wanted to see was one way out.
I don't know if Fairgrounds has any connection with welding program at Burks or anything like that, or otherwise we can see if we can, we just have to go on the open market for someone to weld it for.
Not specifically, but there's a lot of these high school programs that are into that type of metal shop type stuff. I know the Napa School is gonna be working with the master gardeners on an arbor for the garden, and when he's out doing that, it'd be a good opportunity to talk to him about having him work on that.
Okay, that'd be great. And then, okay, well then that kind of answers the question about people mover. And then we kind of have another project I'm gonna.
Got the drawing that, this map we put together was mostly for us to work on laying out the food board. It drops off some of there, but it does have that section there with the drop off. So that's the same similar type of thing we're working to do this year, but with maybe a spotter or somebody in here that is watching throughout the day. Because there's the other traffic coming in and out and all that.
Anyway, and then I have another project that Jeff and I are working on. And I'm gonna kind of throw Matt under the bus here, but ask him for some input, just input right now. We would kind of like to try to restore the beef barbecue, that kind of went away about COVID time. And then the auction time got moved up till 2 o'clock, and there wasn't time to do that. And then this year, the auction time has been moved back to 4 o'clock. So it kind of opens up, there is a time window from like noon to 3, to try to do something like that. But I don't know how many people are familiar with all the logistics of getting that beef barbecue done. In this day and age, any of the sides or most of the food has to be purchased, prepared, like from the bigger pancake or bought at cash and carry or purchased that way. We have a pit down there. Traditionally, what we've done is got the meat re-herding. Built fire in the pit, put the meat on, take the meat off, check the temperature of it. In the past, we've used a gator to bring the meat over, get volunteers to cut and serve the meat, and it happens before the auction. And traditionally, it was done out here, kind of where you did the chili cook-off, because then that's where the people get their auction booklets, and then they go into the building, into the barn. And so, I mean, there's lots of logistics to make this work. Jeff, he assured me that we can get volunteers to help. And basically for the fairgrounds, we need a space. And some setup with some tables and chairs, that type of deal. And of course, garbage cans and all that type of thing. And, I know Matt knows a lot about meat barbecue, because he's been around the fair. He knows what we need, and so he can probably give me some input on that, because, you know, I'm sure there's stuff that we forget, don't remember, and Kyle's never been around it. Or have you?
I don't recall.
Yeah. So, anyway,
I mean, it hasn't been here since I've been in this role.
no, it has not. And so I don't know, Matt, I think we're crazy or not, but
I don't think you're crazy.
No, I
No,
think
I don't
it's
think that's you.
okay, anyway, so, the traditionally in the past, it's been incorporated with the Livestock Association and the Leaders Association. Okay, the Leaders Association gave us our blessing, but they said that they don't have the resources to help us with it. And, it's come to light here in the last day with me, and Jeff doesn't even know about it yet, that there's could be a conflict with we used the clubhouse building down there the night before, and I guess there might be a conflict, but I think that could be worked through with the Leaders Association or the 4-H Association or whatever. I guess they saved some of their trophies and stuff down there in the clubhouse, and of course, we don't really need the inside, we need the kitchen and the bathroom, and be able to get the power and the water and be able to get access to the fire pit.
I think it's totally doable. Would you be, so would we be selling plates again, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then are we looking for donations, or do we have to, are you guys?
It was in the past, it's been people who bought meal tickets and paid for a meal.
I meant for the foods and the sides. Would you be looking for someone to donate that so that the profits based on that?
We would, however it would work, that'd be great.
Okay, I have the thought process of going to Astoria to talk about a senior project. I have a couple in mind that might be a good set of kids to maybe help you round up donations and then be able to use that as a Pacifica / it's called Pacifica and Seaside, but Pacifica project, a senior project for them.
Okay. Well, that would be great. Any kind of help we could get would be awesome.
Okay.
You know, because there is a financial burden to get it to go.
Yeah.
And then the monies, Jeff wants to, if you could talk about that.
Well, one main thing is the location to make it successful.
Yep.
Kyle's gonna be an area over by the horse arena,
This area.
but you have a big bleacher move going on, and Tom said that in the past that area is extremely busy. We're looking at feeding 300 people coming off the line there.
I don't know if we get that many, but
I called Bonnie and we bought 300 potatoes for the last one. They didn't have many left, so everyone gets one potato, so I'm just kind of going by that. And so right out here of this exhibit hall was traditionally where it was always done. The Kyle says there's a tent. There's something going on.
Yeah, so that's where we'll need to do some coordination with open class, because that's like when they were doing the chili
How
cook-off
dare you? I missed that.
at the same time. So, there's overlapping things happening in that area. So,
But if they
well, the
start-
tent has always been there. I know the other events have happened.
That was my tent last year,
That was
sir.
your-
No, it's a good spot. The tent,
Yeah.
I think Kyle's gonna bring that back. It was nice to have a tent there. So
Yeah.
we did them for a couple of years, but yeah.
So they would be looking at doing like a dinner to feed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
On Saturday
from
between
like
like
noon to
noon to 3. Do you have any
Yes, that's when we do our chili contest.
that's the chili
Yeah.
competition? Okay.
But we don't have to do it then, but that seems like the best day to get most of the people who compete in a chili contest to come and participate is the Saturday. What if we did, yeah, from 10 to noon. Breakfast chili? Yeah. Bring your own eggs.
This gets in gravy.
Yeah. And they're eating beef after. But they're only.
Yeah, this one will just-
Right.
Just a little bit.
Right, that's what I think.
What's already started before the big meat.
I guess I totally buy it on the way home. Between the arena and
Up here.
the bar.
No, I'm not finding them. Let me just check.
Where was it?
Yeah,
The chili?
The beef?
Yeah,
No, it was right out
Right
here.
here.
It was always right out here.
Right out here. And then you'd walk
100%. It's always right out there.
110.
110. I'm not on my brain, so.
Yeah, we did
Okay.
11 o'clock last time. I can look at my timeline, but it still took a while to do everything. I think we announced. Yeah, we announced it once, but we don't need, somebody else keeps setting that up. Right, they can use it. But the people can know about getting on it. Well, now they can know.
Now they can know about it.
I did that. Do I keep it on Saturday or should I move it? No, we'll come.
Maybe we can set up a call with Jeff and Tom and Katrina and we can kind of hash through some of those details.
Of course, I'd be happy to.
But you know, we're gonna have 200 or some people coming off the line and needing a table to sit at too, so. We're gonna need,
Yeah, I don't
Tables.
know where there would be room for tables.
Well,
over
the thing is,
in that
people
area.
come, I mean, it's over a 3 hour period and people traditionally have had, like, it seems like there's been about what? I mean, another table?
yeah, 10.
Yeah.
Eight, 10 table, and then, you know, those tables sit like 8 or 10 people and people come and go and.
It always seemed to work with whatever tables we've had in the past out there.
Yeah,
Cause people don't sit there that long to eat their meal and
Yeah.
take off, and they wanna wander the fair so that they just don't sit and camp, you know, they eat and go get an elephant ear or something, you know, afterwards, but.
How many tables do we typically put right here?
Like 4.
4 tables right inside.
Depending
the
how much you
door.
want to bus during the day.
Well, and it depends on how many groups you put in here too.
Yeah.
We'll have to condense our staff as well too.
Yeah, we could have 4 tables sitting there if we get plus food.
Didn't you have vendors leave early last year, like this
No,
whole
not
area
last
along
year.
here?
2 years ago we did, but not last year. Last year the fair was pretty busy until it
Okay.
closed.
So I was thinking if some moved out in here, you can move tables in those spots for people to.
can't make on that though.
But
Because
currently,
the other thing we have too is like, we have all these tables out here too, out in front of the stage
Yeah.
and all of those out here.
I don't think they had probably in the past, like I've seen some aerial photos where there was like a bleacher out there or something in the
Yeah,
past.
I just don't want complaints from your other vendors saying. Our food is
That's okay.
taking up
We're
their,
worried about ribs for Rob.
Right.
there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
Oh.
It is a tough conversation, but it's, you know,
Well,
there's a
we're
lot of
doing a-
tradition with
we're
it.
doing a roast, we're not doing a rib. You know,
Yeah, and I think we're not setting up something every day. It's a one and done and it's a fundraiser for going back to
and it's
it.
only for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, yeah, and I think we just, you know, have our speaking points about that to our vendors. One of the other things is like they're required to be here all week. And then
Yeah,
when it's the busiest, then we let somebody else come in and.
And traditionally in the past, sometimes some family members will either be barbecue and other people, they don't want that, they want, they want a
exactly.
hamburger or they want.
I don't think I'm not worried about that part. I really am not.
The-
I think what would be best is if we could all get together and figure that layout, because I really do think it should come back. I remember serving it when I was in, I was in the line and I helped pass plates out and all
Yeah, I
that when I was in
appreciate that.
break, so.
How big was that tent you had before Katrina?
20 by 30.
Okay. I've been asking about tent rentals and I had one, that was 15 by 30. That was available for us to rent, but if that's not big enough. And like, this is the dimensions on it, which. You can see where there used to be a different tent there that was another third bigger.
It's a nice one. It's very.
I don't know where that tent came from,
I think
that
they
green
rented
and
it.
white one.
I think they rented it.
So it sounds like we need to be planning on like a 20 by 30.
Yeah.
Or 2 20 by 20s next to each other.
Thank goodness it's Christmas.
But do you want mine or no?
I don't need any more baby. I'm gonna walk behind. All right, I'm gonna take off. If
One
anyone
thing,
has any-
before you take off.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of other items for the fair board for this meeting, but the main one was setting that community meeting. So we can get that notice.
Yeah.
The 7th seems like from the feedback I've gotten from folks that have.
Is that Thursday?
Wednesday.
Okay, that's my last day I'm here until I'm gone for a week, so.
Wednesday the seventh?
That's May 7th.
Yes,
Mhm.
okay, we'll get that notice out to everybody.
Okay.
That was the big one. The other stuff was talking about, sponsorship in the 21 and older. If we wanted to consider going back to all ages.
So I will say, I think that, I know we've had some people say that it was hard to get their tickets out because they couldn't give them to the family. I still feel like it was packed in there, even with apparently them not being able to give out tickets. Is it gonna hurt us in the long run, them not wanting to sponsor because they can't have kids in there? I think that's probably a longer conversation that I have at the moment. I would be interested to see how it works changing what we have changed. Maybe that is more doable, being able to have kids in there since we don't have as many people in there, hopefully. So I'm not indifferent either way on the 21 and over. It was good to get it under control last year. It's a hard place to be because you have some top sponsors wanting that to change and be not 21 and over. And then you're gonna have people thinking, okay, well, VIP, that should be 21 and over. So.
Is there a sense
That
of
wasn't
urgency
helpful.
on that decision?
I think the urgent part of it is just as we're engaging sponsors, letting them
Yeah.
clearly know. But maybe as start reaching out to these sponsors that, we can kind of
Gauge
gauge
yeah.
their feedback on that and say, we're considering maybe doing this. We haven't, currently right now, it's 21 and older, but, we could potentially do something else depending on the feedback.
What's the take on the vendor, the beverage vendor too with that? Or is that like I know that they're very.
I think it's
Control.
probably more common at a fair that stuff is all ages.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I think the biggest thing that we are going to do differently this year is instead of just relying on the badge for your access to that area, that it's a wristband. Because I think some of what's happened in the past is like the badge just gets handed through the gate. And then more people are just circling around and getting into the.
I think it was a little bit better this year, but this last year. Okay, yeah, I think, maybe just keeping it 21 and over at this moment, but kind of gauging it with the sponsors. I know that we've kind of picked and talked about a couple sponsors to reach out to, so hopefully we can get that done this week and into next week and then have a follow-up with that committee. Anything else? Thank you. Okay, if anyone needs anything, let me know.
Another. Bye-bye.
Do you have anything else, Jeff?
I had one other thing on your, that goes off the sheet thing. It's it appears that this is the 100th fair. That the fair started in,
120, right? Wasn't it?
oh, I looked online. I thought
Is it 100
the
or
first one was 1905. I thought I said.
Yes, so that'd be 120.
Oh, 120,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a big year.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
And I
That's-
noticed it's not on the your banner or anything, like,
It is not. I know we identified that early as well, but I kind of forgot about it since we identified that.
yeah.
But that's definitely something that, as we're really starting to promote the fair, we could highlight that. And then, yeah, that goes the same for basically everybody's spoke already. If there's things that you can get us to help us promote your activity, then the more people know about it, the more people will hopefully participate in it.
Okay. We're working on updating the sign, because sign we had different, but yeah. Thank you.
All right.
You have more, Tom?
No, I'm good.
Oh, wait, I got one more thing to come. The parade, we did the parade last year.
Yes,
I don't know if that's something you're interested in.
I'm definitely.
And so if that's the case, then we just gotta find a team to be on the float.
Yeah.
And get people committed to doing it.
So we need last year we had one of the clubs. Came and was out at the Warrington Parade and decorated, met us out there and we decorated the people mover and.
Yeah.
with the,
I think it was the Bellingham family.
Yeah, I know, right?
yeah.
It'd be super cool if maybe we could get that in one of the 4-H newsletters.
Yeah.
Inviting all the 4-H kids to come be on the Clatsop County Fairgrounds float. I know some clubs do their own floats and stuff like that, but.
And there was also a bunch of FFA.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
FFA also, but,
Yeah.
and cool to get that in there.
We'll put it out there.
And you can't, I don't know how many people go to the Warrenton Parade.
Oh, it's probably.
Yeah,
3,000
I have video. It is incredible.
Oh, cool.
It's a great hometown parade.
Yeah.
And it's on a Friday, so 4th of July should be a pretty busy year.
Oh, yeah,
this
it's
year.
gonna be nice this year.
I haven't
I know
looked at what the
My
tides
kids
are.
enjoyed it last year.
Yeah.
They always want to do the parade float and I leave town for 4th of July, so I tell them it's on them. So I think it was a good way for them to be able to be involved with it and still not have to have me.
Hey, Tom, Phil, what are your, like, what requirements do you need for a tractor for your people mover?
The main thing is that the people mover itself does not have any brakes on it. And so when you get like 24 people on there, it becomes a weight issue. So generally, we've had a tractor that's usually, last year we had a tractor that was 99 horsepower.
Okay.
And just so it has to be something substantial that, and
Got it.
4-wheel drive, so you can come up the hill, come up the gravel road.
Oh, that's right, gravel road.
And then
A cab is ideal because it gets.
cab is ideal, you know, I have bad allergies, and when you ride on a tractor and all the dust and pollen and all the stuff that's out there, and unfortunately, it does rain. We've had very good success. Knock on wood somewhere.
You didn't complain about all that stuff 20 years ago.
No, we didn't. Did you know that we pulled the people mover in the beginning with the John Deere tractor?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some photos, yeah.
You can use my farm all.
Yeah.
Last year, N&S Tractor donated like a brand new case for us to use. It was nice.
Yeah. And Corey from Pacific Tractor has donated tractor in the past. Ag-Bag has donated a tractor in the past. The John Deere dealer in Longview has donated a tractor in the past. Fisher Implement has donated a tractor in the past.
Yeah, and last year when we were working on it, the folks that bought Clatsop Lawn and Tractor were interested in, but they have to go through corporate.
Yeah.
And by the time they were getting through all of their stuff, we had already locked down N&S. So there were some options, the earlier the better. Yeah.
Does that offer an advertisement then? Are they allowed to advertise on the tractor?
Yeah.
We basically made them a fair sponsor at that point. We included them in our sponsor
Okay.
acknowledgements.
And in the past, I know like, Corey, I mean, it's a pretty big undertaking. Kubota, I mean, they deliver the tractor. They let us use the tractor, you know, we put hours on it. And then they pick up the tractor, and so they have to come from the valley. And, so in the past, like, Kubota has asked for a space where they could put a look up, you know, they brought down a couple other pieces of equipment and put it out here for people to look at.
That's always cool to have anyway.
Love to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that, yeah, static
You know,
display.
so, you know, and in the past, it was offered up as a, you know, just as a pro bono, you know, type deal. And of course, that's not my,
No, we would absolutely let them do that. I think, you know, kind of this area that's in it's kind of, let me see what's the word for it. This area like right here is a kind of a decent spot where people are coming across the bridge. I think I've seen equipment parked there in the past, but this area isn't really great, but there's some other spots we could have some stuff.
but anyway, I've done people mover now since 2002, so. And, it's been pretty successful. I've got, a regular crew of drivers. And, you know, so it's not a lot of training involved and one time we had someone comment about your drivers have CDLs, and I was thinking about it. I was like, I think almost every one of the truck driver. And one of the drivers was actually underwrote the liability insurance for the county, so that was okay too.
Anyway,
It turns into an activity for some of the folks. It's
Oh, yeah.
slower,
As
the
a kid,
kids
I
like to
remember it.
ride around on it. It's like a hayride.
I remember the first year.
Hey, what do you
All
got,
right.
Tess? Or are you not done yet, Tom?
I'm done.
All right, I'm Tess Hall, can everybody hear me okay? All right, I am the FFA advisor at Astoria High School, and I really don't have a whole lot to share tonight. I do have to leave around like 6:10, I have an FFA meeting too. But I run things like the livestock judging competition, the FFA portion of fair. I work really closely with 4-H on everything, so that's kind of my role here. I have usually about 30 students involved. Any questions for me or?
Are you guys still planning to do all the watering system?
Yes, we do. Oh, yeah, we also do the pig watering system. I forgot that part. We do all the pig waters for the hog area. We're doing those again this year. We are changing out what we're using. We tried a different system last year. It did not work. So we're trying a different system with how we attach them to the actual panels. I've been told by Tony Bymont that it is going to work. So I trust him. He's done this for a lot more years than I have. And I think it'll be good. We usually, it's from the day that we set up here all the pens for that next 2 weeks, we usually meet about 4 other times with the students to hook up all the rest of the water system. Pretty much setting it all up, testing every pig nipple along the way and making sure it works. And then throughout fair week, I usually have a student who works alongside Tony, or sometimes Matt, I think, helps out too. With just, if something breaks, we fix it. But I think the thought is that we're going to, I know that Charlie met, I think, when I was on maternity leave, and we're gonna leave those up until Sunday sometime. And they're supposed to be a lot easier to remove this year with the device that we're using to hook them up. So it should be able to be easily taken apart with a drill. So we'll have some drills available to do so. So that's.
You had your event last week and your banquet this Friday.
Yeah, banquet Friday, open to everyone. You're welcome to join. Free dinner.
You can try to
Silent
win
auction.
a picnic table,
Nice picnic table built by the construction class.
plus a lot of other items.
Not, I did not teach that class, just so you guys know. We built step schools.
Great. It's a guest meeting, just here seeing a public meeting. Kristen, I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
do. Alright. Hello.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Klein, I'm the acting assistant here. I've been working on logistics, communications, scheduling, updating various online platforms, the website, alumni taking, Facebook and graphics, document spreadsheets, all that jazz. So far updated the online platforms serving as key tools for FAIR. So EventMe, which I've seen Kyle's go through, EventMe is our main platform that we're using for fair planning. It's our vendor applications, exhibitor campaign, reservation form, mapping, sponsor tracking, volunteer coordination once we get there for this year. And then working with eTix, so their concert platform, and we've got the concert tickets up there. Fair ticketing is already live, so people can buy their fair tickets right now and see the passes, booster ramps. We are implementing an email platform for marketing this year for the first time. It's called Hive. And we've sent out a couple of emails already for concert emails, for concert tickets and other promotions. So kind of cool to be able to use that platform for this year. Also keeping track of action items, vendor needs, their documents, working with public health and getting food vendor documents to them. So a lot of communication with vendors, communication with the public, emails, phone calls. So it really helps for you all to keep me in the loop as you plan. So when the public calls asking questions, we're informed here in the office and we're able to provide the appropriate information and be consistent with your messaging. So that's just my main ask for you all, to please keep me in the loop as you move forward. During fair, I live in the office. That's a constant revolving door, but occasionally I need to step out. There's something that needs my attention, or I'm changing signage. It just is, I can't always be in there. So having some office support, it would be a big help. Because the phone is ringing, people are coming in, people are buying tickets, it's a lot going on. So thanks all for being here and for all that you do to make this happen.
There an intern that could help you with something like that?
We had one last year and she was there for, just the week of the fair. It was a help to have someone in there when I wasn't able to. But yeah.
It was a little tough because it's like she was only available the day the fair started, so it wasn't a great opportunity to get her trained up ahead. So, you know, we used her with what we could, but
What about connecting with 10 Point though for a work-based learning again?
yeah,
Right there.
yeah.
Just work with construction usually, but they've got.
Yeah.
We don't have offices, we don't have an office training anymore, but they definitely can have.
Either
students
say,
with, like,
she'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'd say I got 2 notes based off of Kristen's comments. Kristen does so much for the fair and she's great, but reminding back on the beef barbecue, you guys will want to touch in with the health department because you'll have to have.
Food handlers card, yeah.
You'll actually have to have a health inspection for the event. The other is highlighting on how busy we are during it. So if there's people that are involved with your groups that need stuff from us, try to get them to do their things a week or 2 weeks in advance, because the day before the fair isn't really the time we have to be working with camping registration or camping issues or, you know, whatever it might be. Tickets, I mean, tickets are what they are. It's good once the TCB's here, because then we can just send them to the admission gate and they can do ticketing through there, but. The amount of things that people pop in all the time and they're just like, we need you now. It's like, this is the 10 minutes before showtime. I don't have time right now. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you.
I'm Julie in the first.
Go ahead.
Hold on, go ahead, Mike.
Just number one, fantastic job on learning both of our platforms, the marketing side and the eTix platform. You've done a great job with that. But is there any hardware needs that you need pre-fair, or do you have everything you need as far as ticket printers and credit card swipers and such?
I think we're good. I mean, we don't have any scanners, but we have the printer still. And we have a swiper and we have your laptop still, so.
Okay,
we're good.
do you need any blank ticket stock shipped up to you?
No, we got plenty, Mike. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Joel, go ahead.
No worries, I'm the first one to set that. I'm gonna let her go first and then you can tag me in.
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Brooke and I'm the new Clatsop County Police Program Coordinator. It's great to meet all of you and see you. So this is gonna be my first fair, so some patience, great. I'm learning, and I have Julie, who's amazing, who's gonna help me through it, and a lot of awesome volunteers, and as well as you guys help support as well. We have an awesome volunteer system, so I know that they're gonna be great. A few things that we just kind of got through, and Julie's gonna talk a little bit more about it, is we will be starting vet checks on Sunday and Monday. This is with Dr. Ramsey, and this is when the parents and youth are bringing their animals into the fair, and all the animals will stay on the trailer, but this is just to kind of prevent any injured animals, sick animals entering the fair. Julie can kind of talk a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so the last few years we've had a few problems just with ill animals, and animals with some issues that have come in, and then once an animal's there, it's really kind of a tough thing to send a kid's animal home. We don't like to do that, so we're gonna catch them on the trailer. almost 100% of the animals that come through are very well taken care of and really great and ready to be here. But it's just like that extra bed night, and we understand that some animals get sick while they're there, there's nothing we can do with that, but at least that we can say that bed put eyes on those animals before they even got here, they saw them, they were fine, whatever's popping up is popping up right here. And so Dr. Ramsey, we met with her and her team yesterday, and we came up with a schedule, and it is gonna be a tiny bit more limited for animals entering the fair, but I am pretty confident the schedule that we made is gonna work for all of our kids bringing animals in.
And then, Dr. Ramsey was really excited about this, and being able to kind of see the animals before we're through. And so, and there'll be like 2 different shifts for Sunday and Monday. And, yeah, that's kind of something, I know that's kind of a different change than what I think has been done in the past, and having people kind of check in before driving in that way. So, we're excited about the change. Anyone, and then I think that's pretty much all I have for right now. We just finalized our schedule today, which is a huge thing for Julie and I, so we sent that off to Kyle.
Did not have time to look at it.
And so that's, hopefully, we're gonna get some of that out to our members soon, and just start building the excitement around it.
Can we have a peek at that too, just so we can build? Okay.
Yes.
One of the other schedule changes is we're moving horses on Monday and Tuesday, and then we'll be using that outdoor arena for the bee shows. On Thursday and Friday. Yeah, it's a great gig. And so I think that'll work out really well too. As far as what support we need from the fairgrounds, a lot of support, but we need to do every month, so yeah, we'll go over all those things as we need.
But I think that's it from us. Anyone else?
But we're able to still connect, because we were gonna reconnect sometime after this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll, for sure. We want to skip over the board and then. We're the volunteers.
Bruce Scott, Sheriff's Officer. Couple concerns we've had in the past, our first concert. Just want to make sure, is security gonna be running the concert, or are you gonna need us as well?
We'll want you there as well, like normal or fast, but tell us what you need from us and we'll go, but they'll have their staff like they had similar to last year, but having you all up there as well is great, especially for the talent. They really like to see law enforcement around.
And then are we gonna be able to meet with them before the concert?
Yeah, we will set up a security meeting. We can either do some kind of virtual call before the fair, or we can meet like on Thursday or something. Either way, Mike, do you have any input on? Mike or Tammy on a check-in meeting for the sheriff's office?
I can meet at any time. It might need to be virtual. I will be working at Washington County Fair leading up to your fair.
Yeah, you have specific concerns, we'll definitely address them in advance.
Okay, and then the other thing, are they gonna help parking? Or do you have someone else that's gonna help with parking for the concert?
We're hoping to get a group help us with the parking to at least, when people are showing up. I think afterwards, what we ended up doing was moving the concert staff down there and help with traffic control. And just kind of getting the flow of traffic out without everybody trying to leave at once. I think that worked pretty well last year.
Yeah, and we get a line, like the 202 Velocity.
Yeah, a light.
Just right there, like a
Like
white
that.
light. Yeah, we can put a deputy down there, that'll help to make sure our deputies get.
We will plan on a light lamp down there.
And then you already talked about first aid, that was an issue last year. So we can get that figured out. And then on that map, you shot up there. The handicap parking, yeah, so the only concern we saw last year is that at the end of that handicap parking. That's where all the first responders were coming. And medics, fire would park in that parking lot right there. So it was an issue when they were backing out,
Okay.
because that part of it was full.
They're not supposed to come that way. I'll take care of that.
Okay.
They're supposed to come in and out gate one.
Yeah,
That's the way all emergency services are supposed to come in and out that way. Not to plug that chaos up there anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll light that up again. I was on a fire last year. I wasn't here, so.
you bringing that up is a good reminder, because OBS is our vendor. We can put them anywhere, but we'll definitely make sure that at any rate, that if there was a situation where somebody needed to pull in there, that we could get in without a tent being in the way.
Let's see. Oh, and then comms, if we get calls with the security team for the fair, just in case they need us, that'd be great. Only other thing is that, all different days of the fair, we're gonna have certain rescue there. Probably have the water rescue team K9 on a certain day, just to kind of showcase what a service office has. For all of the probation and corrections. But when you do see deputies kind of throughout the concert or throughout the fair, just be aware that they're not all enforcement deputies. They might not have all the answers to, like, hey, they committed a crime over there. They might just be a deputy working at the jail and full probation. And then if you get a dunk tank for us.
We'll plan on it. I've got
Put a
one.
deputy in, so.
I have a dunk tank, like tentatively reserved. I just need to lock in the other stuff we're renting from that company, but it's on our list of things to get from them.
And then I'll let you work out the logistics as far as if you're gonna charge for it, because we can't accept anybody.
Yeah.
But I can definitely put a deputy to get done. That's all I got.
Potentially I'll have a concert the second night, Saturday.
Yeah, we're wanting to do similar like last year, with the second show, the second night. It's not gonna be like a ticketed admissions type thing. But there will hopefully be a crowd in there.
Okay, and so it's similar to last year, so
Yeah.
run those off,
Yeah,
okay?
but I don't think it's necessarily as big of a need, staffing need for that second night, but once we actually get a act booked, then I'll follow with you on what we'll need to do for that night.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'm Jeremy McDonald, fire chief on Molesky. I wasn't here last year, so I didn't hear any problems from my guys. Any of your meetings with like security or sheriffs, we'd like to be a part of, especially pre-concert, so we can know that everybody's gonna be at what channel. We usually don't have any problems with anybody to talk to. Yeah, usually it's somebody running up to us.
Yeah, and getting them like your direct contact, so those minor issues don't necessarily need to go through dispatch and can just come straight to you.
Yeah. So, and hopefully, if we're not out on fires this year, I'll try to take that week off and be around. I'll talk to Dad about it.
And then you're trying to coordinate with other fire chiefs about staffing.
I've gotten one. Got Napa said they'll bring up that truck down for the food, but, not getting a lot, so.
Yeah, I'm just
Trying.
It's really great if they did some kind of drill or exercise or something.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for fire or sheriff?
You did not offer someone for the dunk tank. I don't know.
It's not gonna be the fire chief.
It's be fun.
Still fun. I'm just the one who delegates the fun now.
Yeah.
To help address the communication between medical, fire, and police, I can bring a couple of extra radios with us so that somebody from each of those departments so we would be able to communicate with each other. If that would work.
Yeah, I think that would be great. That'd be a great solution. Does the fair board members wanna say anything now, and then I can kind of go into what we've been working on? You're right next to me.
Oh, I just appreciate you guys all coming. I know this is a lot of sacrifice to come and sit at this meeting, but this really helps us moving forward and making sure that we're collaborating together. I really appreciate you taking the time to come.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the meeting that really gets us all excited and really starts a fire under. It's all about, oh, these are all the things we've got going on and get working on.
I did have for power was an issue over here when we did our chili contest.
Yeah.
We were blowing things, we were having the cords around, so that would be nice to.
Yeah.
Or whoever sets it up, the ones out here.
In this area over here, we run out of power for spider boxes. That is a conversation I've had with our sound provider, because he's used 4 of the cords in the past. I'm like, why do you need 4? And so he's looking at how we can trim that down and maybe we can get an extra connection over in this area from the spider box. We were pulling all off of a couple of receptacles on the wall. I do not know how all of these receptacles are wired, like if they're different breakers.
Well, I think it's a generator possibility or something. If we had thought about it further ahead or had a longer cord, was there access to a generator that was out that way?
We have a little generator,
So we just
Yeah.
had 10 people, but it was.
I'll put a note
it was
here
rough.
to look into that.
Yeah.
So you're saying you might want to do it outside this
We
next?
did. We got
Oh, you did?
on the sidewalk right out. It was right on the other side where the tent is shown.
And then previously to that, it was in here, you guys were
We've
just
never
rocking?
done it before. This is our first time.
Oh, okay.
But they had 25 crock pots running out there.
Well, that was only 10 crock pots. Or maybe some people brought 2 of them, but yeah, there was not too many. It was rough. And those guys are serious, by the way.
Yeah, they get really cranky when you don't have the right power.
Do you have a spider box or do we not have enough spider boxes?
We got a whole stack of them in there.
We have like 15. They get used up pretty well.
Cause we also need one in the sheep area,
Yeah.
because those sheep kids get pretty cranky too when their blowers pop the power.
Yeah. These are the types of things that keep us up at night, thinking about the fair and the vendors and all of that. I
So-
get chilly. You can.
One thing about the blowers is if everybody is smart and doesn't have the heat on their
Oh.
blowers,
Just the
it
air.
doesn't pop the breakers.
Okay.
But they turn the double heat on their blowers and that's what blows the breakers. So if the 4-H kids and FFA kids could keep the heat off of their blowers, it would make a huge difference.
You can put that message out.
I do have our electrician working on another project, and it's something that I can talk to him about, this specifically, and as we're working on our vendor layout, when we start talking about power. I think the live contest stuff.
Yeah, because they start coming in, ideally, they're gonna come in enough time that thing can back up again, so at least at 10 o'clock or 9:30. Some of them want to consider to plug them in and get them hot, so.
Pretty cool.
What you paying me for?
How about you, Joel? You got any?
No.
No,
It's costing me.
I don't think so, except just the questions I asked, but we're working on, I mean, you're gonna cover events and stuff, but.
Do you guys wanna be judges for me? For like the chili contest maybe, or any other events? Think about that a little bit.
Can you give me kind of a variety of events that you're looking for judges for? Because I would participate.
So far, we've got flower arranging, we've got judging.
Right up your alley.
Hey, I did flower arranging in 4-H and I placed.
There you go.
They need your spouse to be a judge.
My wife might be into that.
So you think, yeah,
Joel Homelak?
Joe's judge.
No, I don't want to be flower judge, but then my wife might, yeah.
Tell her you
That's a-
told and told her.
Looking at the
I
scarecrow
will.
decorating contest.
Yes.
So the chili judge is just that noon to 3 on Saturday?
Yes.
Well,
not-
well,
Barbecue's
no,
noon
the
to 3.
barbecue's noon to 3.
Right,
So,
so
yeah, we'll-
it's chili. It's
yeah,
11.
it would be like a short little window where
If
you
you
are.
give me some times, I can give you an answer.
For you?
I'm gonna
Love
be
it.
here all week, but I need
I've
some
got it.
specifics.
Yeah, I'll find my little thing. I had it up in just a second.
Cause I love chili.
Thank
So
you
is
for
it,
the time.
does chili have beans or does it not have beans?
Chili does not have beans.
Both, we have
That
both
needs to be
sides.
clarified.
We have both sides of the house.
You're asking the Texan.
No, chili does not have beans. No, it's not chili, that's bean soup.
You do not have time for that.
There's no such thing.
There's no vegetarian.
Are we good, Kyle? Are we good?
No, yeah, whatever, if you guys wanna take off.
Well, no, I mean, there's
I'm gonna go over the fairgrounds.
11:45
PM
begin,
till 1, huh? 11:45 AM till 1 is judging,
11:45 to 1 p.m.
if we did the same.
Saturday. I can get back to you, because I don't know. I'm doing a couple of things fair.
If there's something you want to see happen, you've never judged a pie eating contest, this is your time to apply, you've got all the power right now. So
I think chili is my thing.
it's a good deal.
But who judges? I won't enter.
What?
Who judges like the food preservation and stuff?
We canning judge, usually we have Brenda Carr do our canning, we have the baked goods, and we had Karen Vanderbolt. There's a bander in there, she did the judging for baking. Yeah, so we have, but we're, if you have.
Did you have somebody you?
I didn't know what kind of, I don't remember what kind of food preserving there was. I'm into food preserving. I was just curious.
Nice, we will keep that in mind.
If you want. to. Judging for preserves, we're doing on Sunday before fair.
Oh, okay.
So if Joe, I mean, if Bruce doesn't do the chili, I'll do the chili. How many judges do you need?
Well, last time I had a panel of 5, so I had Chef Chris Holden from Next was one of our judges. We had County Commissioner Mark Huela was there. We had Michelle, who was the regatta person there. I think there was 5, but two of them had direct experience in the industry. So that was helpful to have in the balance too. But I can you guys can see the judging part and stuff. So I'll send some stuff to Kyle and we can share with you. You can look over it.
And I'm friends with a lot of chefs, so if you want help with finding chefs to judge, I can definitely find a chef.
Yeah, it's good to have.
Get them to participate.
What's that?
Or get them to participate.
Yeah, you know what, actually.
We had 2 restaurant people compete. Neither one of them got first.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right, Kyle, what is it that you wanted to cover?
Yeah,
everybody.
I'll just kind of roll through the sections. Our food court is filled. So we got more food vendors than we've had the last 2 years. We've currently got it still there as a wait list. So that if something were to fall through, or also just to try to collect more vendors for following years, there's currently 15 booths, not including the chicken coop or the concession stand. The one caveat to that is we're still looking for a coffee vendor.
That's what I was gonna ask you, who's the coffee?
Valerie called him yet? Cause I'll see him tomorrow at
I
golf.
thought we were doing brew 22.
Well, I see him tomorrow at golf. You want me to talk to
He
you?
has not committed, and so I've got some other calls out looking, we're trying to find someone. I haven't called every coffee shop in town, so that's kind of the next course is to start calling. I know there'll be a couple of coffee vendors here for the Crab Wine and Seafood Festival, so at this point, it's the first person that signs up, it's gonna be the person that gets the spot.
Do they need to offer more than just coffee? Like, what do you?
They don't necessarily have to offer more than coffee, but if they have like lattes and
Well, yeah.
iced
obviously.
coffees and,
Yeah.
you know, not just the black drip coffee, usually those vendors will also provide like infused red pill, energy drink type stuff. That's pretty popular.
Pretty much anything you get from coffee stand is what.
But not like food or anything.
I mean, if they want to sell scones and brownies and cookies and stuff like that, that's great as well. But yeah, you're just getting someone. We have 18 commercial and retail informational vendors. I think we have space for about 30, so we're over the 50% mark. So the vendor part of the planning is coming together pretty well.
Kyle, last question.
Yeah.
So on the coffee vendor, the fair doesn't open till what, 10?
It's different every day. I don't know, I don't remember the hours off the top of my head.
But the thing is that a lot of the food court does not open till the fair opens.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of activity that happens around here starting at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And there's a.
And so that's a conversation we have with all of the vendors when we're, you know, onboarding them, sending their packets, saying, you're not required to be in your booth until fair starts.
Yeah.
You're required to be in your booth at the time. But if you want to open early or stay late, you're welcome to do that. And as long as they have customers, they're usually happy to do that.
So like the Dunes, they sell donut holes and you can get black coffee there, but they don't do anything else.
but in the past, we had who was it, a couple of years ago, we had the coffee, they couldn't do it yeah. And they were here like 6 o'clock in the morning and they had, lattes and all kinds of stuff.
Imagine they don't sell much coffee after 4 p.m.
No, but they sell lots of Red Bull.
Lots of Red Bull. Yes, vendors are going very well. The concert is going very well. We have the stage is locked in. We have 4 vendors that are sending us sound and light fields. So we're looking at where we can cut our production costs there, but still wanting to have a quality sound and light experience. And the preference is to use the folks that have been doing it every year, but we're looking at pricing. We do. And maybe this is a good time to talk about it. We're wanting to do the Saturday night concert. We've had the conversation with Jackie Moore and I've sent it to you guys. I don't think I've heard back from everybody yet, but if the board is open to making an offer to her up to a certain dollar amount, then.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, we had some conversation with Jackie Moore. She ordered an ordering singer that was on the voice, has a pretty good following. And it sounded like she was going to be very reasonable, but she said basically just make a reasonable offer and she didn't say anything. So we guys are good forward with that and see if she'll second offer and she's still available and rock in that Saturday night. The goal would be the best is included with the price information. And just, that being intention is to get people here and sit around and be up there later. We still looking to, you have a scene room. I have to be pretty popular. She does bring a lot of cover songs and she has some original, so it's a lot of the scene along music. If the board's open to that, then I'll
Need something formally?
I don't know if necessarily need to vote, but if you guys all are ready, or have a consensus on that, if we try not to move forward.
So you're just gonna get a price from her and then bring it back to the board?
No, we would make an offer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we make the offer and then she comes back with, other terms or whatever. Then
Is she bringing a band or just by herself?
It would be a band.
She was at Fort Stevens this last year, so.
How big was it? How big was it?
Well, unfortunately, she was like the last performer. And you couldn't really see her. Sound was great. But the actual attendance at Fort Stevens compared to what I've seen at the fair is like really low. They really didn't have anybody really there.
So personally, because the year before she stood us up at Fort Stevens. So, I would look at about $4,000 max for my vote.
Yeah.
I'm not real happy on her, but
She came last year though, right?
this past year, yes, but the year before she stood us up the week before the concert, the week before we got screwed.
But you guys risked it up, having her come again then.
Pardon?
You were willing to take the risk to have her come.
I was gone from the board by then.
Oh, okay.
At the time I wasn't for her.
How long is is our concert gonna be if we did?
The tape goes about an hour, but we would talk to her about the duration of it. She may play a little longer than that, depending on if we were to do like an opening act as well.
Are you familiar with it?
I mean, the way I'm looking at it, it's like something that we would be moving on this stage, or it's gonna be moving on to that stage.
How many people are in our band, do you know?
I think it's 5.
5? So what's that, what would you say? I'm looking at you.
I think Kyle already has kind of an idea.
Okay.
You kind of have an idea what you're going to,
I think we could probably get her in the $3,000 to $4,000 range.
Yeah, 3 to 4-ish. That's good.
Yeah, if you want us to check it.
No more than $39.99.
You're always well.
does anybody object to moving forward with, see if we can get her?
As long as she's not kicking someone else out, the more stuff we can have during the fair to hold people in, the better.
If we don't have anything scheduled for Saturday night. So.
I like it.
Yeah.
And that concert will be there?
Or here?
It'll be above, so we'll have, we already have the stage reserved for that second night, and then the sound and.
Okay.
Basically, the sound and light, there's no additional cost,
They're
it's
already-
just paying for their labor for the second day. But we already have
Will there be stuff at this stage as well?
that's something that we would want to figure out what we would want to have happen on this stage at that time. I don't know if we necessarily would want another band playing, but we could put some other entertainment down there, whether it's the magician's one doing his thing at that time, or one of the ground stacks is doing their thing at that time.
That's not in the way of the car show, correct? The stage and everything?
You know, so yeah, there's room for it. The cars have to leave before the concert starts, but,
Hold on,
it'll be
so
fine.
Friday is the concert, and then you're saying there's another concert on Saturday, right?
Right.
Using the same stage.
Right.
But we're totally out of his way.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm thinking the stage is still there from Friday night till.
The stage is, you know, it's.
I know, it's like, that's all fine.
We just have to take fencing down.
Fencing, okay.
And then the Saturday night is, there's not a VIP section.
Oh, right, right.
It's all just wide open. You got the ride truck lined up again, we got the car show on Saturday, now we're showing in Mayville on Wednesday night. We got local magician lined up, we got a shear to shawl demonstration. Where they're gonna move, expanding and move up some items. Working with the reptile guy, the shear shawl is Friday and Saturday, so we're hoping the reptile guy can come on Wednesday and Thursday in the same spot. The local artist that does caricatures is gonna come, playing on the corn pit,
Where is it? Not inside?
Oh, it's gonna be right over here.
Right,
We're moving it out.
That's it, I had.
It's
Uh,
4-H.
the goal is gonna be to set it up as like the kitty area, so like where we just set up the kitty area right now.
That way, that's.
Yeah,
there you go.
Over there.
And maybe we'll make it a little bit smaller, I don't know, we'll play with that, but it's popular. The master gardener's looking here the whole week with the demo garden. We're still looking for 2 more grounds acts. They have a couple of leads, I'm working with 4 different town agencies on who they still have available. There's some options, so we'll go, like grounds entertainers that aren't just musicians. Haven't started looking at bands yet, we've got a long list of folks that are interested in playing. Frankly, that's one of the easier things to book, there's a lot of local folks that are just looking for an opportunity to play in front of the crowd, so we'll start diving into that here in the next 2 weeks. We're exploring an axe throwing and marksmanship type activity of, so, and that's some of the conversation with the insurance agent on Monday as well. But sounds like Matt Samuelson is agreed to do like an extra day, and like every day they'll have a block and they'll accumulate points throughout the week. And hopefully we can find some other volunteers to keep that thing running for more hours of prayer than just during that week. But that's some of the details we're still sorting out. And then alongside that, we're exploring like a pellet gun shooter or archery type of or essentially thing. It's not necessarily just to go out there and spray type of thing. It's more like you're trying to do some balance. So I know you're with the shooting sport. I don't know if you guys have any folks that might be interested in helping with that. And maybe maybe hunters or type of thing for the groups, or maybe even if it's just one of the days or something like that. That was some of the ideas we were working on. We're planning the Rasparade again on Thursday, on Wednesday. So we have them confirmed, we just need to work out volunteers and all that, but that's been very popular. It's basically, it's an adaptive rodeo. Got the button busting, mechanical bull lined up again, they'll be doing 3 shows a day with the button busting and then the mechanical bull running all the other hours. We're gonna run 2 large inflatables. Probably side and obstacle course. Along with that, we're gonna rent that dump tank in the sheriff's office to set it over in the dump tank. And we'll set up the small kids bounce house area with the local kids love bounce house, he sets up over there, it's more for the smaller children, and he keeps them, the Army National Guards agreed to come, they'll set up like a joust, and they'll man that, they don't have their rock wall anymore. One of the things we were talking about though was maybe if we rented a rock wall, that they would run it, so it's a conversation we're gonna have with them. We're gonna reach out to the other armed forces as well and see what that show, I mean, do some other activities, know the Army usually will have pull apart and take stuff. Face painter, we have a face painter that's committed, said she's gonna come and do paper faces. And then we've got a whole bunch of other ideas of things to try to work on just to fill out our team. United Way's gonna do the watermelon contest. Yeah, camping is, the application's live, it's only for exhibitors, so 4-H sends it out and FFA sends it out, but that being said, if there's other folks that are involved with putting on there, like community competitions or there's other groups, it's not vendors or entertainers or anything like that, but if it's, people that are heavily involved with their here on the home, you can let them in that area as well. Yeah, we've got all the other minor details, port office, traffic control, all that other stuff. And then you gotta get heavy on marketing. We're gonna be doing some Facebook ads here soon for the concert, and then once we can get all of the details locked in for all the rest of it, we'll really start putting that area together and trying to promote it on all the other stuff and get folks to come to the fair.
So there was a bingo night Wednesday.
So last year what we did the talent show, and this year the talent show is going to be different. They try to follow the format that the state fair is going to be using, and the state fair for the last 5 years or so has done an American Idol talent search type of thing, and it really narrows down the type of folks that participate in the talent show because they have to meet the American Idol criteria. So state fair has gone back to more of a traditional talent search, where they'll have the dancing groups and the jugglers and all that. And so, we're going into that format, maybe we'll get a little bit more engagement, but it's really tough to book a band to play after the talent show because you really don't know. So last year we pitched it though, we bought all the prizes and said, did the talent show, played the bingo for us, and I had pitched that again to her this year. The other one that I pitched was a music video at the festivals and events convention. One of the, what you call it, icebreakers or things that they were trying to get everybody engaged. They did a music bingo where instead of having numbers on the card, it's like the hardest game for the song, and they would just play that song from. She said she was excited about that, but we didn't really talk about climbing. It sounds like something that will happen.
Last weekend, I was sitting with some people at the fundraiser, the 4-H finger fundraiser, and that's one thing they said. Wish the fair would have bingo, like when I was like, oh, maybe I was like, what do you think?
Last year.
And we just went on Amazon, looks similar to what they use for.
Cause I have the slider one.
Yes,
Yes, who has? I have a lot of ones, 200.
And in regards to other fundraiser that the grounds you want to do with the. Set the TV does and put it on. If it's something that people will come to, it's kind of a no-brainer. We don't want to steal anybody else's thunder, but at the same time, people would be bingo once wanted if they know it's gonna be a thing.
The more interactive, the better. Yeah. Are they doing pig roast again this year?
Oh, that's something we haven't locked it in yet. I think it's something we can do. When would we do it? That's the question. There was with our entertainment committee last week, and we were talking about it. I think we'd like to do something, maybe on that Tuesday night still. But we need to try to have some conversations with, who would come to it, try to find some sponsorship for it. It'd be really partnering more with Open Glass and FFA outreaches. Those are really gonna be having a conversation on what that looks like. I think it's something we can pull together pretty quickly. We just need to make a decision which way we will.
Well, how many people ended up attending last year?
The numbers are hard. So things are tracked. I think our number that we landed on after the fair last year was around 8,000.
Okay. Are you guys happy? Are you happy with that?
That's way down. So back when we had the card, the numbers were like 15 to 20.
But what was it the year then 2023?
It was similar. Just
Okay.
7.
Okay.
That year, we didn't have as great of attendance tracking, but I don't think there's really been great attendance tracking.
I
Really
agree.
ever.
Yeah. And then are you doing the photo booth again this year? Are you thinking about that?
Oh, yeah, that was another one that we were talking about. Just that I have a whole other list of things that are kind of
Yeah.
in the works. I haven't talked with that particular person. There's a lot of little options. It is nice to have the one that you end up with a printed on
People.
photo, but there's also a lot that will send you an electronic version of your photo, which isn't as fun. It's a little easier to do.
Did you, and then were those free, like the face painter, the character jar?
The face painting characters won't be free. They'll pay, they're vendors, so they'll be running for.
Okay. And then are you guys gonna promote the fact that the carnival's taking place this year? Will we be promoting that?
That would be something that would be heavily, flyer and. We do have. Yeah. Really appreciate everybody coming in. This is a really fun bit. To start really getting excited for it. I don't even want to think about how many days away it is. But, yeah, we've got some really big homes going. We really got to go. You know, ideally we would have had everything planned already, but that's just not the way that it is. We've got a really good foundation going for the fair. It's going to be a great fair. Since the last year, we've got to try to really figure out what we're doing to replace the carnival and to get people here. And so that's kind of one of the things we'll be focusing on as we're promoting and wrapping up the entertainment activities option is what are the things that we're going to be doing that are actually going to get people here that we can highlight and get up to the community so that we'll show up.
More contests.
More contests.
We're working on that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, does anybody else have any other final thoughts or anything else? I'm here 5 days a week, so if anybody wants to talk with me any other time. Try to call in advance and let me know you're coming.
I wonder if you guys could set up some kind of kitchen area thing for contests that could be like under an umbrella type of health inspection kind of thing.
I don't think so.
It doesn't really, yeah, because you have to have individual people, like you would have to have your, because we've done things at the Grange and you have to have somebody running it, and then everybody has to have their food handler cards, and then if people are bringing stuff in, they really need to have their own.
But it's the food handlers that they're selling it, but if we're giving it away in small samples, then they don't have that.
Yeah, no, but yeah, if we did like if they were doing a kitchen here, it
Right.
changes all that. It changes,
Right.
they actually need the.
There would have to be one kitchen, probably a mobile kitchen that has has been inspected. And it has that certification, and then anybody that was going to be in it would have to have their food handler's card to be able to use the kitchen.
Okay.
So we should look for non-food contests as well. Or- Other than
Like
that,
we did
you're-
last
It's a huge hype. And my wife can't wait for it again.
Oh, good.
You know, the real thing is when you get above a sample size.
Yeah.
If what you're offering to folks is a sample size, then you have a lot of freedom to do stuff.
It's gotta be a loophole.
If you want to start getting to where you're providing, if you're getting to where you're providing a meal to the public, then that's when you start getting into the health department.
I feel like
Regulations.
I'm looking at the cup count and we went through them and then, Josh, they run the, Trace Bros? Yeah.
So,
They brought us
Josh-
they brought us a whole bunch and they also were competing, they did not win, so we really feel like a jerk. But it was people, what I'm saying is they went through those cups and people were treating it like a meal. I'm just a lot of people.
Well, it was really talked about.
Yeah.
People like competition for one.
Like a baked good one.
Yeah.
We could do, yeah, and we could do.
And that's
They had a-
different food regulation. I think if they did, if they baked them at the house.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it falls more under the, cotton school.
Yeah.
We have seen.
Years ago, Bob, 25 years ago, Bob Redfield did that. Yeah, I entered it in. I won third place one year. Bunch of old ladies were bad at it.
They do that. Yeah. let's
So
just
if
set
you
it
got
at-
like, let's say you got Rob's Ribs and you've got like Kenny Hagman, and I mean, groups like that competing,
Yeah.
that would be legal. to
If they
do
had
that?
their own
Yeah,
restaurant. and
Yeah.
their
They'd
own-
be working off their license.
Yeah, 'cause they already have their own.
License. If they have annual license, they can move from it at same license.
I could see them enjoying it and the people wanting to try their stuff because it's a competition.
Yeah.
And you could sell tickets to an event, not individual kind of thing.
Oh. Like a. Food one, the West Coast, I was on it, United Way, what did we do?
Chef was-
Iron Chef,
Yes. That'd be great.
yeah, I mean, I just, you do it on Friday night instead of interfering with Saturday or something like Friday.
You want me to look into that?
I've had lots of people talk to me about it just because they're still talking about the chili thing.
How about that? There's it.
Food's important.
It is.
Well, anytime, they can show their self-pride, it's a big deal.
I personally, I sacrificed, I had many versions of these chilies. As my husband was preparing for it, so no joke, woke up at 1 AM, try this chili. So, personally, so I'd like to know if it went into ribs, maybe I'd enjoy that as well, but this is all, I have to think about this one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's about community, so.
No, I love it.
Any final parting thoughts from anyone?
I had a couple questions. Do you actually want some more possible chef judges for the contest or whatever?
Yeah, so if they're interested, send their information, I mean, you can connect however you'd like, I can give you my email, but yeah, I love that.
And then you guys have any input possibly on? So we were thinking about maybe doing like a marksmanship thing up there, and there's probably not enough room for 2 of those, or if there isn't. Do you think bow and arrow would be more popular or pellet rifle? Because we obviously can't do rifle up there. Probably gonna have to choose one or the other. If we can do either, I don't even know yet.
Anything with a gun is good, whatever. No room for any error.
Yeah, and maybe it's one setup and it's archery or
Potato
pick what they want to use.
Paintball.
All around the cars, yeah.
No, not
Glitter.
Saturday.
That's really fun.
Nice. Yeah, I just wanted to see
Looked
whatever.
like you were about to say something.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody drive safe.
Great. Final parts for me, we do have some concert flyers up there. If anybody wants to take some of those and put them up around town, they're right here, sorry.
I can put them out in my business.
What's that?
I'll put some in my
Yeah,
business.
you could take some of those, and we'll update those eventually once we get our sponsors start getting dialed in, but we put them up now and been working on ticket sales.
Can do that.
No, I-
Well, from the board perspective, I don't know if we have to officially adjourn, but I think it'd be good for us to do the good of the order before we end, and if it's okay if I start. So, I just want to remind the board, that Kyle does communicate quite a bit, and for example, Jackie Roy, he was looking for feedback on that via email, since we don't get together very often. It would be good if you would check your emails and reply to Kyle. Not a reply all like I did, and that was just way late that time. So just encourage everybody to remember to do that so that we can continue to move things along. And so Kyle doesn't have to wait another month before he gets responses. And then, John, I think I just want to make sure that you got the email. We're trying to figure out how to have meetings again from the.
I answered. I got some,
Thank you.
I got some dates for them.
Awesome, great, thank you. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so they're just trying to get that. It's hard because we can't really communicate with each other, so we have to just kind of make sure it goes through. All right, anything else?
If anybody else has any good?
I would like to thank everybody for coming and for all your feedback. It's been very valuable to me for the first year person on the board. Remind everybody, we do meet the first Tuesday of every month and you're always welcome. Sometimes it's a very interesting meeting.
Yeah, kudos to you guys for the work that you do, and
It's a lot of fun. But it's not, doesn't come without everybody else in the community coming together, because it's just not 4-H and it's not, arts and crafts, it's the entire community, and we need to just really engage the entire Clatsop County to come back to the fair. And I think we're making some moves with Kyle, heading up the board and the carnival coming back next year. So.
Kyle, I have one question. On the tractor thing, Clatsop Power has, they've never have donated a tractor in the past because before they had horsepower limitations on how big of tractors they could handle.
Yeah.
Okay, Ag Bag has in the past. But last year, Russ really did a good job. So you want me to stick with a local person first? Or is Russ gonna get insulted or?
Locals are nice, but at the same time, he came through for us last year. I think it'd be great to give him the first shot at it since he.
He pretty well bent over backwards and brought us a brand new tractor with a cab on it.
And I know with Clatsop Power, the business changed hands in the last. 2 3 years, something.
I asked them last year, or I asked them 2 years ago and they said, well, no. And then last year I didn't, you tried to talk to them.
I did, and they were working on it, but they, like you said, they don't have anything at this branch in that size, so they were having to work with their distributor. And he was trying to work through those lines, but by the time he was starting to get answers, we'd already talked.
So it wasn't actually like their dealership would be giving it, they were trying to get something to corporate.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And then Ag Bag, he just has concerns with the amount of hours.
They've supplied tractors in the past, but they don't have any units that they used to rent a unit.
Yeah.
And they have not been doing
I
that.
think the last time they provided one, it was actually their own personal.
It was.
Machine, not one of their ones off of the show yard.
They used to rent tractors.
Yeah.
And they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
Right, and then adjourn this meeting.
Did Julie speak out?
She did.
I was trying to talk to her, but.
Thank you all for coming.
Yeah, everybody. Next,